Hi, everyone. Please be aware that we talk about child abuse in this episode and it can get pretty graphic. So just, keep that in mind and skip if you need to. Also, as you would imagine, Amanda and I use real foul language in this episode. Thanks and enjoy the show. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Little Miss Recap. My name is Amy.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
No, what's wrong, Amanda?
You hit record just as a yawn came upon me without
I
control.
understand.
And so I was like trying to get it done real quick.
I understand.
It happens.
How are you today?
Oh, living the dream. How are you?
I'm okay. I may have had too much sweet wine last night. Which, when I say too much, I mean 2 glasses.
I see. Well, it's because it's pure sugar. So yeah, that makes sense.
And the glasses are like, she gives a real healthy pour.
Yeah, when it's real cheap, they give you a real big pour. That's how that works. Yeah, no, we went out to dinner last night with Todd's parents for his birthday, my birthday, our anniversary.
Nice. Nice. Very nice.
Came home, watched Severance, went to bed.
Okay, we're watching Severance.
Okay, and what are you thinking?
I'm real into it. It is a slow burn.
It's a slow show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not high action.
No, not at all.
But when it gets tense, it gets real tense.
Yeah.
And I think some of the tension comes from the slowness.
We're on season 1, I think episode 8.
Oh, okay. You're cooking.
We're chugging. Yeah. Well, we don't have Mad Men anymore, so,
Yeah, the problem with Severance is it's sort of how I felt about Breaking Bad. You can't watch too many episodes in an evening because it is intense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Breaking Bad. My ex-husband and I had like a 2 Breaking Bad an episode a night rule because it was just too intense.
It's funny because Breaking Bad is one of those shows that Timmy and I resisted because everybody else loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally binged it and we loved it.
It's excellent.
We were like, oh, we get it.
It's excellent. Bryan Cranston is...
It's Bryan Cranston.
He's a powerhouse.
He's everything. Yeah.
He's everything.
Yeah.
He's everything. So yeah, I will always tell people to watch Breaking Bad if they have. I've never watched Better Call Saul though.
I watched a few episodes of Better Call Saul, but I wasn't really interested beyond that.
Yeah, my dad was real into it, but because it wasn't Walter White.
Right.
You know, I only cared about Saul in relation to Walter White and his shenanigans. I didn't care about him.
I agree. Guys, we have heard your pleas. Mad Men will be coming back. The Mad Men rewatch. You would not believe the amount of messages I got, Amanda.
Oh, I believe. Yeah. I've gotten a lot too.
Our Mad Men rewatch will continue. We need the month of March off.
Yeah.
Not off. I mean, we're doing 85 other things. But I have to get to Gypsy Rose.
We got to get to Gypsy Rose. We got to get to SLC, to Housewives. We've been promising that for a while. I'm going to guess Mad Men will pick back up mid-April. That's my guess.
Yeah. But it will.
Because we got to get through Jello Jackets. We watched Yellow Jackets last night too.
Was it good?
It was good. I'm definitely going to have to rewatch it though. Well, A, I have to rewatch it because I have to take the notes. But B, I'm definitely going to have to rewatch it. But we have to get through Yellow Jackets. We got to get through Gypsy Rose. We gotta what else is there that's cooking?
Those are the two
Those are the 2 big ones, yeah.
Yeah, and then in April, Last Resort ends. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City will still be doing that. We'll still be doing 90 Day, which we're loving the new season, guys. If you're not on it, I suggest picking it up. It's real good. We met this week. We met the Pat's Martini and Cupcake.
Yes, I did not know I would enjoy them as much as I did even after watching them until I talked about them.
Yes.
We've assigned each of ourselves an appropriate pat.
Yes. So you need to be on that, and then that's it. That's all we got going on. We have a lot going on.
Yes, we do.
So, and then we're doing our real talk every Friday. Yes.
Friday.
Oh, and then I know what it is. Love After Lockup is coming back.
Lockup's coming back.
Lockup is coming back. I'm going to be covering that with Becca. We're going to be doing that on Saturdays. That will be out on Saturdays. So, we got a lot going on.
And never stopping Sister Wives.
And I can only do Mad Men with Amanda. So, we have to wait until our schedule frees up.
Yeah. Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh, we'll never stop Sister Wives. As long as there is, even a la Corey and Corey and
Carly.
Carly style, we will go back and rewatch it again
I don't
when
know
we're
what we
done
have
the
to
first
do.
time.
I don't know what we have. Thank God we're only on season 4. We've got a long runway.
Yes, we do.
Corey and Carly didn't have to get to that point till they've been doing this for 5 years.
Yes.
We've got
Yes.
runway. We got
Yes.
time. So,
Yes. All right. So speaking of Utah, let's talk about
whoa,
this is dark, guys.
this
I had to get
bitch.
some humor out of my life
I
before this.
understand. This
Wow.
bitch. Wow.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Frank. Is it Frankie or Frank?
Frankie.
Frankie. Of
Mhm.
course it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's Hulu.
It's Hulu, yes.
It's Hulu.
It's like
All right.
Taylor Frankie Paul from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Frankie is a Mormon
Oh.
last name.
Okay. Do we need to do that?
No, you would be so annoyed.
Okay. All
We
right.
can only annoy you with Housewives of Salt Lake. We can't give you 2 of these. I think it will send you right over the
Okay.
edge. I think the fact that all of these young people have all of this money and no one seems to have a job would really send you just right over the
Mm,
edge. So, yeah.
and they're not like helping put people through college or anything, right?
No, no,
No.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no. They're
All right.
having soda parties and putting
Okay.
their
No.
pregnancy tests inside cakes.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. So important people that we meet in this docuseries
Mhm.
are Kevin,
Yep.
Frankie, the husband.
Yes.
So before we move forward, let's just get this out of the way. Let's talk about this guy. So this guy
Go on, Amy.
objectively is a handsome man.
Okay, I'll say it here. If I knew nothing about this man and
If
he
you
just
knew nothing.
appeared on my television
Yes.
and said like I like cats, like something so I knew nothing about this person, I would find him attractive.
Right.
Knowing anything about him makes him completely unattractive.
I agree.
Yeah.
What is the creepy voice that he's using?
It's some of that Mormon it's like the male equivalent of the Keep Sweet voice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got a Bill Hendricks quality to it.
It really does. This guy,
Mhm.
I don't know if this is part of his redemption tour.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on here,
he's
but
trying real hard
they
to
needed
steer this ship into a
yeah,
way that gets him out of
and
the
it's not
harbor of
happening.
doom.
It's not happening, and
Mm-mm.
nobody better give him back his children.
No. I wanna know where the
No.
younger ones are. Do we know where the younger ones are?
I have an update.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. All right. We meet Chad.
Mhm. Who is an
Chad's a cutie.
aggressively good-looking kid.
Yes, yes, very cute.
It's a
Ch
beautiful family.
I'm gonna say something. Chad looks like a young Cody Brown.
Yes, I totally see it.
Yep.
Mhm. That
Uh,
square jaw, the blonde. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, yep, totally see it.
Football, all
Mhm.
that, the sports, although Cody was wrestling.
Wrestling.
And then Sherry, the oldest daughter, who now I need to
Uncle
listen to
Tim
her
style.
memoir. Uncle
Uncle
Tim's
Tim
only
style.
Uncle Tim style.
I have downloaded, Sherry's memoir. You can get it on Spo if you have a premium membership to Spotify, it's there.
I don't, but I have Audible credits.
Okay, then you
I'll
can do
grab
it
it.
that way, yeah.
Mhm.
I just haven't listened to it yet because I've had a lot of Love is Blind podcasts to listen to.
Yeah.
I have to not only watch the episode, I have to listen to 10 different podcasts discuss each episode of the most boring people ever.
You mean like when I watch one episode of Mad Men and listen to 5 podcasts about it? Yeah, I
Yes, but
kinda
at least
understand.
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The podcasts are more interesting than the show is what you're saying.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, we also have various neighbors, and we have a guy named Bannon Patrick, who's a local therapist
Mhm, mhm.
who's doing too much. Yeah,
He's
he's doing the
trying
most.
real hard,
Mhm.
yeah.
So, episode 1 starts with news reports of Ruby being charged with 6 counts of felony child abuse, but how did we get here? So,
Mhm.
again, we're seeing this, starting at the end. How do we get here? I like that.
I do too. I'm still reeling from the fact that we got it on 90 day. We never get that on 90 day.
And I would like to say I knew nothing about this case coming into it. Absolutely nothing. I
I
knew the name
Mhm.
and people were talking about, but I did not know her as an influencer. I
No.
I knew nothing about her.
I knew nothing about her as an influencer. I've never watched a mommy vlogger in my life. I have admitted I went through a period where read a lot of Mormon mommy blogs, but that was in the early 2000s, well before this. Um, I knew that child abuse was involved. I knew somehow some crazy therapist was involved, and that's all I knew.
Okay, I didn't even know that much.
Yeah.
So,
Just
all
because
right.
I knew the name Jodi Hildebrandt and I knew like she was somehow connected, but I didn't know if Ruby was a devotee of Jodi or Jodi was a devotee of Ruby.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
still not sure in a sense which one is which.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see a 12-year-old boy. He has escaped through a window and has run to his neighbor's home, and it's bad.
It's bad. This little kid, Jesus.
We find out that he escaped from Jodi Hildebrandt's home, who is facing the same charges as Ruby
Frankie.
Frankie. I'm going to do it a million
Just
times.
say Ruby.
Yeah, just Ruby. So they find a journal, and Ruby describes her children as demons and saying they're possessed.
Oh, hi,
Very
Lori
similar to
Vallow.
Lori Vallow.
Did you watch her on
Not yet. I'm
Dateline?
going
No, I
to.
haven't watched it yet. I needed to watch that too.
They must be destroyed. And
Mm-hmm.
her husband, Kevin, is fighting to clear his name.
Mm.
And Kevin says, in many ways, we were the perfect family, but the devil knocked and we opened the door.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. What are you auditioning for an audiobook here? What's going on? Don't try to seduce me with that velvet voice.
It almost worked though.
Jesus. So they live in Springville, Utah, and it's a place that people describe, they call it Happy Valley. They're like, this is the
Mhm.
greatest place on earth, period. End of sentence.
Yep, it's just south of Provo. Beautiful. I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Utah is beautiful.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
Spring Valley is described as Happy Valley, a place where everyone is happy and everything is perfect. And then we see Bannon, the local therapist, who kind of reminds me of Frodo. He's got a Frodo vibe to him. And he says this is the capital of Mormonism, and we should all be doing mission work to spread the word. So we all know from our many trips to Mormonism here that the mission is the most important thing. You go, you do your mission somewhere, you try to convert people. It's all based on that.
Proselytizing, or as Ken Grant calls it, proselytizing, is the most important thing you do as a Mormon.
Proselytizing is real important.
I'll never forget that guy.
Proselytizing, though, is a difficult word to say.
It's a difficult word to say. I can never spell it properly. I'm real
No.
grateful for spell
No.
check on that one, but it's
No.
proselytizing. There's like many syllables to it, not proselytizing.
Yes, I agree. So family vlogging is a big thing in Utah because people believe, and in the Mormon community, because people believe by sharing their lives on camera that they're doing some of this work.
Yeah.
So it's all about converting other people. It's all about saving other people. We need to save them.
Absolutely.
We get a lot of footage unedited, which was really interesting. It was shared by her family. I'm assuming that means the husband.
The husband or
two
Sherry.
kids.
Well, I don't know about Chad. I don't know how turned Chad is on her. I
don't either. So there's this clip, and this is the first time we see Ruby on our screen. And she's got the makeup on, the hair done. She is a beautiful woman. And she's like, look how great this calendaring idea is. Oh, these marbles. And then she turns and she's like, get the fuck in your room. It's like, what? What? Oh my God.
It's not funny what happened. Your impersonation of whoever was hilarious.
It was
I think the devil may have just come through your face. I'm not sure what happened there.
It was terrifying. There was two sides to her.
Oh, there were at least two sides to her.
Wait a minute.
She went cray-cray.
Amy sums up the Ruby Franke documentary. There were two sides to her. Period. And we're done.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Shortest podcast ever. There we go.
Jesus. So
she was real fucked up.
Kevin is going to narrate most of this with his voice. And Ruby wanted to be the perfect mother. That's all she ever wanted, he tells us. So they create 8 passengers. It's a YouTube family channel. Yep. And again, these family channels were everything. We saw it with what's her name? Help me. We just did it.
Oh, what's her bucket?
An update on our family.
Yeah, that lady.
That woman. I forget her name. So Chad speaks now. And he says we were
Maya, something like that.
An update on our family. I feel like I need to look this up.
Maya Stauffer.
Thank you.
Micah Stauffer.
Micah.
See, Micah
and James Stauffer.
Yep, we got there.
Okay, so Chad speaks. He says we were not poor. Then he says, my dad had just finished his PhD. He was a professor. Ruby just wanted to show how happy a Mormon family could be. And Chad says she was the best mom. He says when we weren't going to church, we were having scripture study every night. Now
she's real into being a Mormon. Well, that's the whole shtick. That's the game. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I've read so many of these accounts of these people. Like I've said before, I was real into this woman, Stephanie Nielsen, who was in a plane crash and her whole family, super Mormon.
Mm.
One of her brothers was a professor, not at BYU, at like Utah Valley University or whatever. Anyway, like it's all about making your life look fucking perfect.
Oh, it's so
It's
annoying.
exhausting. It would being a Mormon in Utah, I think would be fucking exhausting.
Is it just because we're from the Northeast that we're just, like, cynical and dark? Or is
Well,
it that we're Gen Xers? What is it?
yes.
Because I can't relate to this at all.
And we're atheists. Like none of this appeals to us. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I wouldn't want to have had a house that looked like theirs. It was beautiful.
Sure.
I didn't like the
Sure.
outside of it, but the
Yeah.
inside was beautiful. But no, I have no need to have a veneer of perfection at all times.
I mean, anybody who thinks I'm perfect, needs to take several seats
Same.
because, yeah,
Nope.
no one's ever been accused. I've never been accused of being perfect by
Same girl,
anyone.
same.
Yeah.
Same girl, same.
So Chad and Sherry were the start of the vlog,
Mhm.
and they were best friends. And I'm wondering, Amanda, because it's not clear here. Are they still friends? Are they still close, these siblings?
I can't tell. I don't think so.
I can't tell either
I
because
think
they're never
Sherry
together.
I think Sherry is just out on everybody.
Okay. Maybe if we
I
read the
think.
book, we'll know.
Yeah, I'll be curious to read the book, but I got the sense that Sherry is out on everybody.
Okay. Kevin says, I'm sorry. At first, I was uncomfortable with the filming,
Mm.
but then I grew accustomed to it.
The
Okay.
the number of times she's like, "Look at me! Look at me!"
Oh my God. It's real bad. And Kevin admits, like, I learned to embrace the camera. Like, I was into
Sure,
it.
sure.
Kevin tells us he and Ruby met in August of 2000. He says 5 guys were trying to court her all at the same time.
Mhm.
In her closet, very similar to the prayer closet of Lydia Plath, we don't know.
Maybe.
In her closet, she had a big table with a chart of attributes she was looking for in a guy, and he studied it and creepily became the guy she wanted. Ugh.
Yeah. Isn't
I
that
don't know
good?
what's creepier. Her chatting, listen to me, charting out attributes of men that she wants and having their names on there,
Right.
or him studying the chart
And becoming that.
and becoming that. What is creepier?
Him, I think.
Yeah. So, July 2015, Baby Climbs Out of a Crib is the first video that goes viral for them. That gives
Mhm.
Ruby a little taste of what she could have.
Mhm.
Their first paycheck was $80, and Kevin says, "Oh, I just wanted more. I just wanted more of that sweet, sweet YouTube money."
I That's where I think these women or these families get really fucking nuts. I get it. He's a
Yeah,
professor, you lived in academia, like,
yeah,
he just got out of get his PhD program, he's a professor, he's not making a huge amount of money. He's got his beautiful wife who wants 6 kids, and you're like, "Oh, wait, I can just film our lives and we can make a shit ton of money?"
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I see how you get there pretty quickly.
I see how you get there too.
Yeah.
So, 8 Passengers LLC was born. Sherry says the kids were the employees and Ruby was the CEO. And Sherry calls her mother Ruby the entire time, and I'm
Uh-huh.
here for it.
Sherry only calls them Ruby and Kevin.
Sherry is a hero, in my opinion.
Mhm. I
So
feel so bad for her.
Ruby starts to get real into this. She
Uh-huh.
very similar to Micah Stauffer. She learns the algorithm. She gets real
Mhm.
into it. Well, she tries to learn the algorithm.
Yeah.
As my sister tells me all the time, you can never learn the algorithm. It doesn't really. It's not
Exist.
studyable.
Right. It's
Okay.
not a set of code.
No.
It's machine learning and it's AI and you have no
Yeah.
idea how to get there.
Nope. Chad becomes really popular. Amanda, I have a real Gen X reference for you here. He's cute, he's smart, he's an all-American kid tossing a football around, but he's also the jokester. He's the Mike Seaver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I was gonna go
Mhm.
with Zach from Saved by the Bell, but yes, both
Yeah.
work.
Yep.
Both work. Yep.
So Kevin says he lived vicariously through Chad.
Ugh,
Okay.
I
And
mean,
he
it's
admits
never
they
good when parents say that out loud.
I agree with you.
It's never good.
There are some, like, I've come across this in my life where parents are jealous of children. It's so weird to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't get it. He admits they exploited Chad, and Kevin says all of the money that came was all of that money came for only one reason: my children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ding. I think of this
Meanwhile,
whole
she's in the
just the
background like,
background going, just do
yeah.
shut up. That's just the sound that happened in that
Ah,
home at all times.
Jesus. So he says at their peak, they were making $100,000 a month.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
They were millionaires.
Yeah.
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 Their lifestyle was, we see it like definitely kicked up a notch. We see them go to Hawaii, they buy a new house. Kevin says, I was raised on a cosmic vending machine. I can do business with God. We believed we were sharing goodness with the whole world, and in return, God was blessing us.
Some peak
Fuck
Mormon
right off, dude.
some peak Mormon shit right there.
What
That is
what
the
size ego do you have to think God, if there is one, is spending the time looking at you and
okay,
sending
Robin
you to
Brown.
Hawaii? I
Okay,
know.
Robin Brown.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
this is peak Mormonism.
Ugh.
It's a very transactional relationship with God. It's very strange to me.
And if you are a true Christian,
Mhm.
if you're truly religious,
Mhm.
wouldn't your children be the blessings? Why are the blessings a house, money, a trip to Hawaii?
Because you
Like,
grew up in a culture that values having large families that you live an opulent life with.
oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. By 2018, Kevin says Ruby was effectively America's mom. Now, he says this several times, and I want to just push back on this because I'm a mom and I'm
Mhm.
kind of tied into not necessarily this brand of mommy blogging, but I've never even heard of this woman.
I'd never heard of her either.
She is not America's mom.
No.
America's mom is Muriel Cunningham. It is not Ruby Franke.
Fair.
Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. So the footage of her trying to get these
Isn't it
takes right.
Marion, not Mariel?
Oh, you're right, it's Marion.
Marion, okay.
The footage of her trying to get the takes right are just insane.
Yeah.
She's like, and now today we're gonna go to the pool. Shut up! Get over here and let me rip your fingernails off. Anyway, today we're going to the pool. It's like, what?
I know. It's unhinged.
So the neighbors say they hate her because she films with their houses in the background, and they didn't ask for that, Amanda. They did not sign up for that.
I would be annoyed too.
Yeah.
Particularly if my neighbor who has like millions of followers now know where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't be into it.
No. But they all seem to speak highly of Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't friendly. And the one Mormon lady goes, she was not friendly. She was not having people over for parties.
Nope. Nope.
How dare she?
She was not part of is it the Comfort Society? Hold on here. What is it
Oh, no.
called?
What are you talking about?
Hold on. The Women's Society, Mormonism.
Is there like a secret society that.
The Relief Society. It's a philanthropic and educational women's organization within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, founded in 1842 in Nauvoo, Illinois, which we know Nauvoo because Cody had to take his family
Yes,
there,
we do.
and has more than 7 million members. So the Relief Society is one of the, to me, least troublesome portions of
Mm-hmm.
Mormonism. Basically, it's like, Amy, if when your father-in-law was very ill, the
Mm-hmm.
Relief Society would come in and bring you meals and make sure the girls got to dance class. Like they
Okay.
just swarm in and
Yeah. Gotcha.
it takes a villaging.
It's the Virgin River of it all.
Sure.
I
Never
understand.
watched Virgin River, but yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
it takes a village portion of community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, Amanda, their plan starts to go off the rails when the kids start to complain.
When the kids, I don't know, want some fucking autonomy and privacy.
Mhm. As expected, these kids get tired and annoyed, and we see footage of her bribing them with $10. Again, she's making $100,000 a year. Now, arguably, the kids benefit from that too because they have a nice house. They, take dance classes, whatever.
Whatever it is they're doing.
But I hope she put some of that aside for their education or something because $10,
My guess is she did in the beginning and then didn't.
maybe. Chad
but I
and
don't know.
Sherry both kind of say she was a terrible mother and we hated her, but Chad kind of doesn't go as hard.
Chad hems and haws a bit.
Chad says he purposefully said the wrong lines and made things hard on her. So he rebelled,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And at one point he gets expelled from school.
Okay.
There goes the veneer of the perfect family. And she gets him a therapist, and in comes Jodi Hildebrandt. This
Yay.
woman. Ugh,
This woman
God.
is fucking insane.
So she had a drug rehab background, and she dealt in a particular brand of tough love.
Mm, mm,
That's
mm.
never good.
No,
Never good.
not really.
You
No,
don't want a therapist who practices tough love.
no, not
Just
really.
saying.
Uh-uh.
What's that guy's name? Is it Bannon? Bannon Patrick. Okay. Bannon says he was chosen to shadow Jodi, and at first he was in awe of her.
I just need to go back real quick. Bannon Patrick might be the most like
The whitest name
whitest
ever.
waspy white boy white name I have ever heard in my
And he looks like
entire life.
Frodo.
And he looks like Frodo.
Just with the hair.
I need to
I
pull
just
him up.
mean the hair is real wild.
I need to pull him up here. Bannon Patrick images. Oh, there's a lot of people named Bannon Patrick.
Bannon Patrick, Ruby Franke, and then look up images. Oh, I can't find him.
No.
Oh, is his name not Bannon Patrick? Maybe.
I'm gonna laugh really hard.
No, it is. It is.
Okay.
I got him. Bannon Patrick. That's I don't know.
If it's not him, I mean, I'm here for it anyway. It's fine. Okay. Anyway, therapist dude.
Bannon Patrick. Now I need to know if I have that name right.
Oh, today's Google Doodle is super cute for International Women's Day. I love Google Doodles.
Oh, is today International Women's Day?
Sure is March 8th.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if the guy's name is Bannon Patrick. Now I'm wondering if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yes. You talk. I'm gonna figure out. I'm gonna solve this mystery.
Okay. So Chad gets expelled. You know, he gets this therapist. Bannon Patrick's like, she's great. Chad begins therapy with Jodi, and Chad says, by all accounts, like she was great at first, and I really liked her. And he talks about this initial meeting that he had with Jodi, where Jodi called him out on his bullshit. And he was like, you know what? I liked that. Like, I appreciated it.
It's Brannon Patrick. So close. And he's identified in IMDb as local therapist. Okay.
So that explains why throughout the document I have him listed as Brannon, but at top I had him listed as Bannon.
Yes. He is on the Instagrams as Brannon_Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He does have a Frodo-esque quality. He's actually kind of cute in my dorky
Okay,
taste.
here we go. All right.
Okay.
So they decide as Chad is progressing through this therapy with Jodi.
Yes.
They take everything off of him, including his bed. Amanda.
Jesus Christ. Amy.
You have a stepson.
Yes.
I have 2 children.
Yes.
Their bedroom is the least I can provide them with.
Yes.
As a parent.
Yes. I get freaked out at the people who are like, I took a door off my child's bedroom because they were doing shit. I can't even go that far.
No.
But I see how people get there, and that
sure,
doesn't
like
feel
if
like
my
abusive.
kid was acting crazy and doing drugs and I was afraid for their safety, I
right,
might
and they're
take the
setting
door
fires
off.
in their bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever shit Jenny was doing in her bedroom, you might have wanted to take the door off.
Full on witching ceremony.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You might have wanted to do that, but not providing your child a bed.
Mm-mm.
A bed?
Mm-mm. Nope. So
I could see stripping down your kid's room to just a bed.
Sure, absolutely. I could see taking the phone. I could see taking the PlayStation.
All the computers, all the shit. Like you just
I
get your
even
bed and a book.
Don't like that, but okay.
Okay.
So they take everything off him, including his bed. He slept in the basement for 7 months on a beanbag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're like so proud of this.
Eventually,
Look at
Amanda,
parenting.
as you know, inevitably they break him.
Uh-huh.
And he falls in line.
Of course he does.
And you know what they broke him with? Military school.
Mm.
They threatened to send him to military school, and they did send him to a wilderness camp. We know about these fucking wilderness camps.
We sure as hell do. Was that a thing in your childhood, the people being threatened to go to military
Of
school?
course it was,
Yeah,
all the time.
because we're right next to growing up, I was right next to Valley Forge Military Academy.
Mhm.
That was a big one.
No. We had no military school anywhere near us. It was
Mhm.
just a looming threat somewhere.
Right, it just
Yeah.
existed in the ether that you
Yes.
could be sent to this place.
Yes. So now the video that kind of broke everything.
Mhm.
Ruby does this video bragging about Chad being fixed. We fixed him. He's good now. He stays in line and he doesn't say anything wrong.
If only my parents could have had that with me.
I know, right? And Chad goes, she goes, tell them how I take everything off you. And she goes, I don't break, I don't give things back after a month. And he goes, no, you don't. I didn't have a bed for 7 months. And the listeners, the viewers are like, what?
What?
Say what?
Excuse me, what?
Yeah. She laughs and says, I don't think our viewers need to hear that.
Right. Mhm.
The internet turns on her.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yes. Kevin, okay. I want to bring up Kevin here.
Okay.
I'm going to read this how I have it. Kevin is very suspicious in his speech. Instead of saying, wow, people did not agree with this and saw it as abusive and really came after us and we deserved it.
Mhm.
He says, the algorithm began to recognize, hey, this is a hot topic. So Ruby took the video down. There's no accountability, in my opinion.
No.
There is no accountability with this guy. He is blaming external forces. He's basically saying people came after us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have.
They should have, because you just reported to all the world that you were abusing your child.
Yeah. So she was unprepared for the hatred that came through the door.
Dun dun dun.
Kevin says she was devastated because you have to remember she was Ruby's mom, or she was America's mom. Ruby was America's mom. No, she isn't.
No, she isn't. No one never knew who
Caroline
the fuck she was.
Ingalls is America's mom.
Fuck all of you. Elise Keaton is America's mom. Thank you
Carol
very much.
Brady is America's mom.
Sure, I'll give you that.
Jesus Christ.
Didn't Carol Brady and Greg date briefly?
Just Florence Henderson
Yeah.
and what was his name?
Whatever the fuck his name was. Yeah.
I think something went down there.
Something went down there.
So Kevin says, we saw it as cancel culture coming for us.
Cancel culture doesn't exist, people.
Here we
It's
go.
accountability culture.
Here we go. The interviewer says, was any of that valid? And Kevin goes, sure, from my perspective now.
Wow.
Okay. We see footage of her yelling at the kids, but Kevin is right there. Kevin's holding the camera in many instances. She tells Chad at one point, just fake being happy, goddammit. Like, she is like, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Sherry says Ruby was already abusive, but Jodi brought something out in her.
Yeah.
Chad tells us she would beat him with a belt.
Yeah.
Sherry backs this up and says once Chad was beat so bad, she had to help him clean blood off the walls.
Wow.
So there you go.
I can't imagine hitting my child, period.
Timmy and I have never laid a hand on our children. Never.
I cannot imagine hitting my child, period. I can't imagine hitting my child to the point that they're bleeding.
But that was a thing when we were growing up.
Oh, I know. Oh,
my
sure.
dad used to smack us all the time.
Yeah, my dad spanked me a couple of times and showed me what the spank was, and it really was like, it was not a real hit. It was mostly to get my attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't.
I am so glad that we are at a point in our culture where the thought of hitting your children
is really not a thing we do anymore.
Right.
But
because
some people still do, but yeah.
Because we 100% grew up with that. Like if it didn't happen in our own homes, it absolutely happened in many of my friends' houses.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct. It's not good.
So Ruby decides she's going to rebrand as a religious channel. And the followers were angry and confused, but she didn't give a fuck. Could you imagine, like, you have this mommy vlog that you follow?
Right.
It's like, oh, Mike Seaver's on there. It's real cute.
Here's
everybody's trying. And all of a sudden she's like, do you know what the devil does with your soul? And you're like, wait, this is not what I signed up for.
Correct. This is not it.
Back to, as I say, Bannon Patrick. Sorry.
Okay.
Amanda was sipping her coffee when I said that.
Almost came right out my nose, but there we are.
He says in 2010, he had been shadowing Jodi for a year
Mhm.
and realized something was off. She
Yeah.
refused to pay him. That's off number 1.
That's a problem.
It's always a red flag. And she seemed real angry at men. Like beyond how you and I feel about things.
Right.
Like this is, He says she saw him I'm sorry. He says he saw her rip couples apart again and again and again.
Mhm.
But she was incredibly popular in the Mormon community.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
So she forms connections with
With
an
an X.
X. Stop it. Stop it, Cody Brown. I don't know why.
Like,
I don't know why. I just feel like Cody Brown would have something to do with
I
this.
like all the parts were like, with an X. Like, that's the part that enrages both of us.
Cody'd be like, "Oh, I joined this new group called Connections. It's
Mhm.
real good."
Men's
So
group.
October 2019, Ruby sort of rises to the top into like an unofficial leadership role in
Mhm.
Connections. And Brannon thinks that it's because Ruby had some sort of fame. She had some sort of
Yeah.
name with her.
Yeah.
And they work real hard to get Kevin on board. I'm like, do they have to work real hard?
No.
Mm-mm.
Kevin would follow Ruby off a fucking
Yeah.
cliff.
Yeah. He claims this is Kevin's word. These are
Mhm.
Kevin's words. He claims that Ruby told him that their marriage was in danger and she invited him to join a Connections men's group and told him this was the only way to save their marriage. And he's like, I wanted to save my marriage no matter what.
Mhm.
Amanda, this group is everything you think it would be. There's a bunch of guys on there just being shamed for their porn use.
Yep.
That's
It's
it. Where is
awful.
Covenant Eyes? We need Covenant Eyes.
It's some real toxic masculinity shit, but, like,
Yeah.
in a different way than Cody's toxic masculinity shit.
Yeah. It's bad.
It's bad. Yeah. I actually had empathy for these men who
Yeah,
just
me
got
too.
sucked into this to just be abused by this woman.
Me too. I agree. Because they're presumably they are men who came to this group to better themselves.
Right. To better their
Yeah.
marriages, their families, whatever, and they're being told that they're horrible sluts for, jerking off.
Yeah. So the family seems to be on an upswing. Everything seems to be going along okay. And Ruby and Kevin get real deep into Connections. Their marriage gets back on track. We see
Mhm.
footage of Kevin completely bald
Mm.
on a sailboat with Ruby, and
Don't like it without the hair.
he's rubbing
Mm-mm.
up on her. No, I don't like him without the hair either.
Yeah, he needs the hair. He needs the salt
Mm-mm.
and pepper hair, actually.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Not even the
But
hair, just the facial hair.
but also never to say a word. I don't need to know a thing about him. As soon as I know
Yeah.
anything about him, I'm not
Yeah.
into him.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I actually hate him.
Okay. I
Okay.
actually hate him too. But if I knew nothing about him and just saw his picture, I'd be like, "Oh, he's cute."
Yeah. So Jodi wanted their influence and she trained them to be coaches. And I just wrote, this is weird.
Mhm.
Ruby rebrands 8 passengers as Moms of Truth.
Whoa.
And she starts a group and they get into Jodi's cult,
Mhm.
essentially. Everybody's
Mhm.
in Jodi's cult now. Now Ruby is saying in videos that she walked away from her vlog because it was hurting her children. That's not what happened.
No,
That's not what
not at
happened.
all what
You hurt
happened.
your children.
Right.
Therefore, you were asked to take a walk away from your blog
Correct.
by
Correct.
the evil algorithm.
Right.
So now Ruby is saying, I'm sorry, I said that. The pandemic happens now. And Kevin
Yeah.
says, this really showed us that we were right to think that the end was coming.
The pandemic, if you were already someone who may have had a little end times thinking or a little,
Mhm.
like, prepper
Mhm.
thinking,
Mhm.
the pandemic could be just enough to go doink right over the edge of that cliff. And I
Yes.
think it happened to a lot of people, and I
Yes.
I think that's gonna be one of the things that we learn about when we
Mhm.
look back at this time.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
I also think, we could talk more about this at the end, but I'm real interested in Ruby's parents. I was trying to find if
Mm,
she was raised Mormon. I think she was because her
definitely
parents
was.
do like missions and stuff.
Yeah,
If you pump your children full of doom
and
and gloom and end of days,
yeah,
they're going to believe it when they find someone who validates it
right, and when
and
in
the
a world of
circumstances align.
if you're somebody who has told your family your entire life that, like, "We're preparing for the end times, this is what the end times will look like, blah, blah, blah," and then fucking COVID happens, I could
Yeah.
very easily see how you're like, "Oh, well, here we are.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's do this."
Yep. Jodi was real into End of Days too.
Yeah.
Real into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, May 2021, Jodi calls Ruby and says, I'm being haunted by hooded, shadowy figures in my bedroom.
That's not
Help
good.
me. Help me.
That's not good.
They run up there. Kevin runs up there too. They get in the car and they run up there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And Jodi lives in like this amazing mansion, and the entire basement is a bunker with tons of
Mm-hmm.
food reserves.
Yep.
Kevin says, there were things that happened there that I can't explain.
Oh, God.
Like a handprint on the window. He shows the producer the handprint on the window. It's condensation.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is he even talking about? It's not handprint. It's like a smudge.
It's like a smudge of condensation.
This
It looked to
guy
me
still
like
believes this.
somehow there was schmutz on the window, and when the temperature changed, the condensation just kind of like stuck to it longer than anything else.
Yep. This guy still believes this shit.
This guy still believes this shit, and this guy's still real in love with this bitch.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, God. I just had a real dark thought. I'll share it at the end. Okay.
Are you going to remember it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he shows the producer, like I said, and Jodi, meanwhile, having a complete breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
And we see videos of her. And
possessed.
They decide they're going to bring her to live in the home. And after Kevin performs an exorcism.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just need a little exorcism.
Sometimes you just need to whip it out.
That's right.
They make Sherry get out of her room. They're like, you got to get out of your room. We got this possessed therapist who's coming to live with us. And she's like, I was going to college anyway, so I was okay with it.
Right. I was like, I'm leaving. We can have the possessed therapist can have my room. That's fine.
But Jodi's like, Sherry's like, it's a little weird that Jodi is coming to live with her patients. So I'm going to do some digging.
That's not a thing that, I'm going to say that any sort of governing body and advisory board or certification organization is going to frown on that. I don't anticipate Priscilla moving into my home anytime soon.
Janet would
also,
cry if she had to move in with me.
Also, because I think her house sounds really nicer than mine. But anyway.
No. If Janet lived here, I would just put her in a room and I would keep going in there. And just spilling
you see
my
what's
guts
happening
out.
here?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
it.
Yep. God, all she would do is therapize you all day, every day.
So Sherry discovers that Jodi has lost her license. Her own family doesn't talk to her, even her children. I always say, red flag. Guys, those of you who are dating, if you meet someone and their kids don't talk to them, all of their kids.
Right. Dig real deep into that shit.
Into that. Are there the rare exception where the kids are all monsters? Yes.
Right. And
more than likely the person is the monster.
Is there addiction involved? Like, are there reasons? There are very valid and healthy reasons to sever a relationship between parent and child.
Absolutely.
But most of the time it's not good.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if they've severed their relationship with their parent, trust the kids is what I'm saying. If the kids aren't talking to the parent, there's probably a good reason.
All of them, no less.
Yes. Yep. So they confront Jodi with this, but everything is painted as the atheists were out to get her. They don't confront Jodi. Sherry confronts Ruby about it. And Ruby's like, those, hippie liberal atheists are all out to get us.
Yep.
That kind of thing. So now we have a video of Jodi in the trance, and we're like, okay.
Where she's faking being possessed? That video?
Yeah.
That is the, like, if I'm going to try to reenact The Exorcist, that's the shit I'm doing.
Ruby starts to say that the exorcisms not the exorcisms, the visions, the hauntings are worse at night.
Yeah.
So she needs to stay with Jodi.
Amy, were they banging?
They were 100% banging.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes. They were sleeping together. Kevin's all alone in his room.
No wonder he needed to go to therapy to stop jerking off. He was left alone to his own devices for months while his wife was in the room with her possessed therapist. His
Covenant Eyes partner is working overtime. So he's still going to the men's group. Wait, now this gets even more fucked up because he's going to the men's group where he should be getting help for this, and the person leading the men's group is the one banging his wife.
Who's possessed and living in the next room, but we're not telling anybody this, so they all think all Kevin, 3 of them are in the home on different things.
You think Kevin would be like, "Hey guys," before she jumps on the call, like, "Heads up, guys, she's possessed."
Guys, I think she's fucking my wife.
Nope.
And I'm
Nope.
not getting off
Nope.
on it. Look at me.
Nope.
Growth.
Nope. Jesus Christ. Okay.
I didn't expect to laugh so hard I'm crying in the midst of this horror story,
Jesus.
but here we are.
Good Lord. So that Christmas, we have a video of Jodi singing Emmanuel. And also, Chad tells us that 2 of his youngest siblings did not get presents.
Right. That's
Oh.
not good.
Let me tell you something. Timmy's parents gave him coal one time as a joke, but like let it go on for a couple days, and he still is scarred by that memory. Even though we laugh, we back at it now and we think it's a funny joke.
Right. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that to your kids.
I'll never forget one year my cat, Tig, got coal, and we thought it was the funniest thing ever. It was a little pre-bought coal stocking for your cat.
So Tig wasn't performing up to snuff, so had to get coal in their stocking.
Tig was my childhood cat, and I don't know if I told you, my dad was a cartoonist.
Yes.
And he would do cartoons of Tig when we were little.
Oh, cute.
And the cartoons would always be Tig being real fat and sitting on things and killing them accidentally. So the cartoon around the Christmas coal was that Tig sat on a mouse and killed it.
I see. I see. Wow. So, no internalized fat phobia there or anything.
So when you murder things by your weight, I guess you get coal. Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, Father Amy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue on that.
Wait, let me make a note for Janet.
Let's just put that right down on the list. I told you need the bookshelf items. Just grab one if you have something to talk about.
Yep,
It's great.
Yep. So she even turned away friends who came over with presents for these kids. Like they got nothing. Nothing. So Sherry says shit was getting kind of dark.
Yeah.
And I was looking around the house one day and I saw massage oils and lotions. And the producer's like, do you think they were intimate, Jodi and Ruby? Sherry's like, yeah. And Kevin even says, it was much more than a friendship, but I don't know how far it went. It was uncomfortably intimate.
Ooh.
Okay, dude.
Amy, I don't think anybody would describe. I think we have an intimate friendship, but no one would describe us as uncomfortably intimate. And for that, I'm grateful.
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
We don't go weird over
we
here.
We do not go weird on little we talk about shit, but we don't go weird.
So meanwhile, Jodi's still running the men's group. And she's like, let's talk about how great it would be to leave your wife alone. Why don't we just pack up our stuff and leave? Like she's really trying to get him to go.
What is my mom used to joke about someone handing you your hat and coat and be like, sorry, you can't stay any longer. Bye.
Yes.
Get out.
Oh, we were watching something last night. I forget what it was. It was Severance, but I forget what scene it was.
Okay.
And it so clearly was time for this person to leave and they weren't getting the hint. I said to Timmy, that's why I hate having people over.
When my friend Julie and I used to live together, our friend Jason would come and hang out at our place all the time because he still lived with his parents. He was the smart one who lived at home for a couple of years, saved a shit ton of money and bought a house and now is doing better than I am. Let's say that. Anyway, he would come over and we'd be looking at each other okay, is he ever going to leave? Because we want to go to bed. So eventually we were just like, Jason, we're going to bed. Sleep on the couch, go home, do whatever you're going to do. But we're going to bed now. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Know when to leave, people. Read the room.
Yep.
Chad now is steeped in shame and he's running around apologizing to Jodi and looking at porn and kissing girls. That's what you do.
Like a normal teenage boy is what you're telling me?
Teenager.
I mean, most normal teenage boys don't have to apologize to their possessed mothers, their mother's possessed therapists, but otherwise it's normal.
So Jodi says, so Jodi makes him tell Ruby. She's like, you got to tell your mom that you're looking at all this porn.
Right.
No,
you don't.
Look, I don't know if my girls, what they're watching, what they're doing. That is their sexual life. I have nothing to do with it. Nope. I don't want to know. Don't need to know.
Nope.
No.
Same. No. The less I know, the happier I am, actually.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So Ruby says, wow, well, you and all this porn is the reason that Jodi's getting attacked by Satan. So she throws Chad out of the house. He is 19 and essentially has nowhere to go and no skills.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So shortly after, and I shouldn't say he has no skills. He has skills,
But
but
he's
like
a
she didn't
kid.
prepare him to leave, is what I'm
No.
saying.
No.
So shortly after, Ruby now kicks Kevin out because he is holding her and Jodi back from living up to what God wants them to be.
Basically, they can't bang all over the house when Kevin's around.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
they're relegated to Sherry's room.
Mhm.
And
And Ruby goes, or Kevin goes, Ruby told me you need to leave now and never contact me or the children again. And I said, okay.
what?
Okay.
What?
Okay. So he sits down with the kids. Now we get this footage. He's
Mhm.
sitting down with the kids individually and telling them he has to leave to work on himself, and says the kids were upset. Amanda, there was not one tear from him in those
Mm-mm.
those videos.
Mm-mm.
Maybe towards the last one he was faking it a little bit. Could you imagine a world in which Timmy had to sit down and tell my children that he had to leave them
Mhm.
and nobody cries?
Right. Nobody's upset.
He is not upset by this.
No.
It's weird. Ruby's taking pictures of it. And he tells us, my youngest was sobbing in my arms, but again, not a tear to be seen on
Nope.
him.
Nope.
Sherry says Kevin, her father, called me
Mhm.
and told me he was leaving and I was not to talk with him or Chad again.
Wow.
Sherry says, I wished him the best, but I felt real bad for my siblings. Now, here's what they did to Sherry. Now, remember, she is in college. She's what, 20 years old?
Mhm.
They cut off her health insurance and her car insurance.
Yep. Just out of nowhere. I did find it interesting. Just out of nowhere, I got a call from our insurance agent.
Yeah.
I don't feel like if I cut off of my health insurance, someone's calling.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna find out when he goes to the doctor and tries to hand in his card, and they're like, "Nope, don't have
Right.
that. That
Right.
doesn't work."
So Sherry decides to go to the house.
Mhm.
And there's this really sad scene. She brings a neighbor, a friend named Teresa, and apparently there's a confrontation on the porch. And Ruby's basically like, don't ever fucking come here again.
Mhm.
And Sherry's sobbing. And the neighbor's like, it was so bad. Like,
Oh
I
my
was really
god.
worried about Sherry. It was real, real bad.
I'm glad the neighbors seem to have taken Sherry under their wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa's like, this was unbelievable to see a
Mhm.
mother do this to a child. Now 4 kids are left in the house with Ruby and Jodi. Okay. Right? 4?
Yes. Yeah.
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 Ruby's putting out videos saying your woke child is a walking zombie and you have the chance to wake the zombie up. Again with this zombie shit like
I know, this is Lori Vallow
Lori
level.
Vallow.
Yeah, it's
I'm
bad.
going to say this right now. They are lucky that these kids are alive
Yes.
because
Yes.
this could have went real wrong.
Well,
I mean, it did. It
it
did go
did.
real wrong, but it could have been even worse.
If that little boy didn't find a way out of that house, those
He
kids would have
probably
been
would have
dead.
died. Yeah.
Those kids would have been dead 100%.
Jesus Christ. The neighbors are very concerned because don't forget, they're seeing these videos on YouTube.
Right.
Could you imagine? So the neighbors are very concerned. They're all hoping that Kevin would come home and like fix this somehow.
Right, right.
Don't forget, guys, they don't know Kevin. They
Mm-mm.
know the outside image of Kevin.
Mhm.
They don't
Mhm.
know how in deep Kevin is with this. They don't know.
Mm-mm. They don't know that he has to go to porn club. They don't know anything
No,
about it.
they don't know anything about him. Kevin says he was so terrified he would lose Ruby that he was compliant and chose Ruby over his kids.
Great. Good job, dude.
But he had to convince Jodi. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. Now we see Sherry saying, I text my dad and he hearts it and then unhearts it.
Oh, good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these parents just keep like blocking the kids and blocking Sherry from calling them and shit. Like, it's so fucked up.
I can't believe the amount of people who failed these kids,
I know.
but most of all their parents. Like,
Yeah.
I think Timmy and I have a tacit agreement that if I go crazy and go off the rails, he will take the children away from me. I
Right.
would
And you would
hope.
do the same.
And I would do the same. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they're
Yes.
18 now. They could just walk out the door. But in previous
In
years.
previous years.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. Kevin says he was terrified. Things at home are getting real, real bad. The neighbors are pretty much convinced the kids have been left alone for weeks, maybe
Ugh.
months at a time. And they call the
Yike.
police. Sherry calls the police.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbors try to reach Kevin and they tell him, Amanda, the cops are at your home. The neighbors,
Yeah.
okay?
Mhm.
Imagine this. Todd is out, I don't know, running to the 7-Eleven.
Right.
He gets a call from your neighbor that
Right.
says, "I don't know what's going on at your house, but the cops are there."
Right.
And his son is home and you
Right.
are home.
Yes.
Do you think Todd's gonna be like, "Blocked?"
No, I feel like he's going to put down the Slurpee and return home as quickly as possible. Just
Right?
something has gone awry.
Like, I don't care if you don't care about Ruby on some level, but
Right.
your neighbors are telling you your children are in this house, that
And
the
the
cops
cops
are
are there.
there.
Right.
This guy, and he blocked them.
I know. I know. I go back and forth between how complicit is he and how indoctrinated into this cult was he?
Okay, so let's just say he was completely indoctrinated,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
He still does not deserve to be a fucking parent to these kids today.
Oh, no, 100%. No, he should never
This
have
is
control of
this
his children again.
yes, this is my thing against him. He is trying to get those kids back.
He should never
They
have
better
custody of those
never
children
give those
again
kids back to him.
because he has proven he cannot be trusted to
Mhm.
make good choices.
Being a parent is a privilege, and he has not earned it.
Nope.
Nope.
Agreed.
So, again, we know he saw the message, though, because it was on WhatsApp. So we
Mhm.
know he saw it, but then he
Mm.
blocked them.
Yep.
The judge would not sign off on a warrant, and no one seemed to be able to prove child abuse, so no charges are pressed, and we don't see the kids outside ever again. 10 months later, St. George, Utah. 10:46 a.m. We see Ring doorbell footage of a little boy asking a neighbor for help.
Yeah.
He's abused, he's emaciated, he's 12 years old. He has duct tape on him. The guy who and his wife who took this
The
kid
old man is sobbing,
sobbing.
looking at this child and
Yes.
calling the police to
Yep.
help this child.
Yeah.
Thank God I mean, this guy was old, so I'm sure what happened, they rang the doorbell and it took him 5 minutes to get there because he,
Yeah.
like, had a cane and like, he just
He
wasn't
was
quick.
elderly, yeah. Yep.
Wasn't quick on his feet, gets there, sees this boy, and as he's walking away, and he's like, "Thank God." He was like, "No, son, come tell me what's." Thank God
Yeah.
he,
Sit
like,
down, and he sat down with
pushed
them.
this
Yep.
kid a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not inappropriately, but just, like, kept saying, "What's going on? What's
Mhm.
going on?" Otherwise, this kid would've walked away.
Yeah. 11 a.m.
This
the
man's a hero.
cops I agree. The
Yeah.
cops in the ambulance show up, and I just wrote, "This is very hard to watch. Do not watch it if you
Mm-mm.
don't watch episode 3 if you don't want to. We'll just talk you through it."
Yeah.
The boy says he has a younger sister who's still in the house, but he hasn't seen her in over a month.
Jesus
The
Christ.
cops get in their SWAT gear and they get right over there.
It's great. It is great. Them pulling
Oh
her out of the house
god.
is amazing.
Okay. All right. Now I want everyone to get your lube out or whatever you need to do, because we're all going to enjoy this moment more than we
Wow.
probably should.
Wow, that was graphic
just
in a way I
listen.
wasn't
Just
anticipating.
listen to my voice, okay?
Okay, Kevin, go
So
ahead.
the cops show up at the door. Boom, boom, boom. Police, open up. Boom, boom, boom. Jodi answers the door. She's got her phone in her hand.
Right.
What's going on? I have my lawyer on the phone. Are you Jodi Hildebrandt? I have my lawyer on the phone. Get the fuck out of here. We don't care about your fucking lawyer. And they drag her out. And she's like,
Drag her out.
oh, but I have my lawyer on the phone.
That's
It's glorious.
It's beautiful. It's
Glorious.
beautiful.
Oh, God. I loved it.
Because at this point, they have probable cause that there's a child being abused in there.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting the fuck in there, girl.
Yep. I
Yep.
love her screaming, my attorney's on the phone.
Right. And also, Amy, if you have done nothing wrong
Mm.
and the cops pound on your door,
I'm like, come in. What do you need?
what do you need?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not immediately calling.
Well, I don't know if I would be like, come in. What do you need?
Right.
But I would be like, what's up?
Right. First of all, I mean, other than friends, I don't have an attorney just sitting there
Right.
waiting for me to call.
Right.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
I'd call Charlie and be like, I need
Sounds like
some
she
help.
had a lot of legal battles
I
going
think
on.
so.
Yeah.
She has a real problem.
She demands a warrant, and they're basically like, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
In the basement, they find a safe. It's a room, actually, with a safe door.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a toilet and a sink, and Jodi claims to not know the code.
This
Okay.
house is
Sure,
so
Jan.
fucking big. Jesus Christ.
Now they find the little girl.
Yeah.
And she's got a shaved head. She's really skinny. She wouldn't talk. And I just wrote, maybe if we weren't waving the big guns in her face, she would be a little less intimidated at this moment. And
Maybe.
in look, in situations like this, and they even say this, there's like, we didn't know if there were guns in that house or
Mhm.
whatever. There's 2 sides to this whole gun argument, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes cops are forced to go into situations like this because they don't know what's on the other side of it.
Right. Right.
The minute they see this girl, they are so sweet with her. The
Oh,
one cop even stays with her
this cop is
and,
so
like,
lovely
will
with
not
her.
leave. So that
Yeah.
was very sweet. But
Yeah.
they did come in aggressively, but, I think the circumstances warranted. They didn't know what was in there.
They had no idea what they were gonna
Yeah.
find, and they knew that this woman was nuts, and they knew that these children had been abused, and I
Yep.
don't blame them for that, and it's I really love that cop, that
I
as
do
soon as
too.
he saw this little
Yeah.
kid, he was like,
I'm
"They
not leaving.
not leaving this kid."
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And it's interesting because I wrote, the little girl was terrified of the cops because she didn't know she was being saved because she didn't know she needed to be saved.
Right.
Because this is how strong the trust is between a child and their parent.
And this mother's telling this child that she's possessed and all this
Yeah.
shit, like you say all the time, at that age, you could have told your kids anything.
Anything. And they would have believed the trust is so sacred. Like
Mhm.
they just believe anything you tell them.
Mhm.
And when I see that abused, it drives me insane.
I know it does. As well
So
it should.
meanwhile, Dickbag is living his best life in a townhouse across town somewhere. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know, it looked like a nice townhouse.
Oh, his phone calls with Ruby say Ruby Heart.
Ugh. But
She
she didn't
calls
call him
him.
for a year.
Yep, she calls him and she's like, "Oh, guess what? I need you to go get our 2 younger children down at the police station. They're possessed and the
Mhm.
cops have possession of them." No pun intended. He's like, "For the first time in more than a year, my wife was talking to me. The woman I love."
Ugh.
Fuck right off, dude.
Yeah.
She tells Kevin, "You need to get the kids. This is your chance to redeem yourself." So he basically says, "I was going to go get my kids and return them to their abuser."
Of course.
Fuck right off,
Yeah.
Kevin Franke.
Yeah. He's a
Ugh.
garbage person.
Even if you are in the cult, if you see your children in that condition,
Yeah. I don't know how that
mm.
doesn't snap you out of it.
So, meanwhile, the cops are searching Jodi's house, and this mental giant has used the code 123456 for the safe room. So they get in there and they
This mental
find
giant.
rope and handcuffs, gauze, cayenne pepper and honey paste, duct tape.
Wow.
There are 2 girls still missing, the 2 middle girls. They end
Mhm.
up finding them at a friend's
Yeah.
house, a family friend, a friend of Ruby. They were
Yeah.
not out of the cult. They were just
No.
at her friend's house.
Right.
They arrest Ruby. She
Mhm.
doesn't ask how the kids are,
Nope.
where the kids are.
Nope. Doesn't give a
Nothing.
fuck.
Nothing. Kevin is questioned. He tells the cops he hasn't seen them for over a year, and the cop is like, "What?
Yeah.
Okay." He refuses to tell them he refuses to tell them that it was Ruby who called him, who sent him to the police station.
Mhm.
He's
Yep.
protecting her.
Of course. At all costs.
They tell Kevin what's happening, and Amanda, this PhD having professor
Mhm.
doesn't know what the word emaciated means.
Yeah. Come
Did you
on,
find
dude.
that weird?
I did. I did. I did.
Okay.
That did
Okay.
not that did not that did not jive.
No. He says, "I thought they were lying. I couldn't believe it." He tells them, "I support my wife in her teachings, and I haven't seen my kids in a year." So they're immediately like, "Okay, he's not a suspect. It's fine."
What?
They question Ruby. She says not one word. She just stares at them.
Mhm. It's
It's
real creepy.
real creepy. And she even looks like Lori Vallow
She does. She does.
in those tapes.
Yeah.
She and Jodi both lawyer up. They're charged with 6 counts of child abuse. Chad is at work and his boss comes up to him and is like, "Dude, your mom is all over the news. Think
Mhm.
you need to take a
He's just sitting there
seat."
lifeguarding with the
Yeah.
ladies doing their aqua aerobics.
And he said he couldn't believe it. He said this was end of days.
Yeah. He still believed it.
Hmm. They interviewed the kids. It's bad. I'm not even going to get into it.
Nope.
They find a folder in the house and Ruby has documented everything.
Uh-huh.
She honestly believed they were possessed and she thought through pain that they would be saved.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Kevin texts Chad now to come to the house. Kevin will meet him there. Chad says, "When I first saw my dad," well, I think he says Kevin, "he was skinny and scrawny."
Mhm.
Kevin tells Chad everything. Chad says and I couldn't understand what he meant by this, Amanda, but he says he struggled with accepting the abuse as truthful,
Mm,
but he does. I
right.
don't know what that means.
I think it means he couldn't believe it actually happened.
Oh, okay, I thought the way he said it, I thought maybe he meant, like, the abuse needed to happen. Do you know
I
what I mean? Like, in the
He just
cult?
he couldn't accept everything that was going on. He couldn't accept that whatever their mother had done was abusive, et cetera, et cetera. What that meant for him in his heart, I don't know, but he couldn't put it all together.
Well, the neighbors come over and they have, like, a intervention with him in his trashed house. His house is
Mhm,
trashed.
mhm.
And they have, like, an intervention with him, and they talk for 6 hours, and supposedly this woke him up and he realized, "Oh, okay, I was in a cult."
Yeah. Well, they also say to him, like, he's like, "Why is the house so trashed?" They're like, "They were getting ready to move."
Yes.
And that's, I think, what made him go, "Wait, they were moving?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And she didn't
But
tell me
didn't they
that?"
but didn't they already move? Because these kids were in Jody's
They
house.
Yeah, but they still had the other house. I
Yeah.
don't know. Who knows what the fuck this crazy bitch was thinking.
Kevin says, "I was the last line of defense for these children, and I packed my bags and I walked away." Yeah. Yeah, you
Mhm.
did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you
You
did.
fucked up.
Yeah. Scumbag Jody pleads guilty to second-degree aggravated child abuse. Ruby takes a plea deal, and I think she testified against Jody.
Okay.
So they're pinning this mostly on
They're
Jody.
trying to, yeah.
Yeah. Kevin claims he couldn't even look at Ruby in the courtroom. How brave.
Oh, so brave. And you know what? If we didn't have all of these hours and hours and hours of videos of Ruby abusing her children
Mhm.
before they got
Mhm.
in there,
Mhm.
I might be able to buy the Jody of it all.
Sure.
That she
Sure.
got sucked into this cult,
Sure.
blah, blah,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. But
Yep.
Ruby was abusive before Jody showed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, Sherry says, she was abusive,
Mhm.
but Jody brought it out in her.
Yeah.
Like,
Jo
she
Jody refined it and cultivated it for her
yes,
power.
100%.
Mhm.
These assholes are gonna be in jail for 30 years. The interviewer asked Sherry where she is at with Ruby now, and Sherry's like, "I'm done forever." And
Right.
she
I'm
says
not at anywhere. There's nowhere to be at.
she has this great line where she says, "We have one childhood and one mom, and that was mine."
Mhm.
Okay. Chad says he misses a mother figure and how she was when they were very young, but he kinda thinks she is where she should be.
Mhm.
And
He's
I
still
think
not sure. He's not totally out, Amy.
and Chad is the one who says that his mother should not be out of jail before these kids turn 18.
Mhm. He does, I mean, he knows something was fucked up, but he's not totally out of it.
No, I
It's
agree.
sad.
Dickbag Kevin says he still loves her and always has. And
Mhm.
the um producer is like, "Even though she abused your kids? Oh yeah, the actions are atrocious, but I still feel a longing and miss her." Amanda, you know me very well. What would I how would I feel about a person who abused my children?
They would be so dead you would have deaded them
Yes.
yourself.
Who still loves somebody who abused your children?
You love Timmy more than anything on the goddamn planet, and if he abused your children, he would be so far out you would never speak
Yes.
to him again.
Yes. I mean, and that is probably how most parents feel.
Mhm. And if you abused your children, Timmy would do the exact same thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Like, no, mm-mm.
So now the
This guy is
interviewer
fucked
says,
up.
"How do you make sense of this, Kevin?" And Kevin says, "This is really a story of love, of hope, of family. But this is also a story of deception, of control. And ultimately, it's a story of faith. If you put your faith in the wrong hands, you can lose everything." He's blaming it on Jody.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It's
Yep.
100% her fault.
Fuck him.
Yep.
Fuck off, Kevin. I'm not falling for it. Don't even come here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
And that's the end.
No. No interest in you, sir.
No, no, that's the end. But I do have some follow-ups.
Okay, but what was the dark thing you were gonna say?
The dark thing I was going to say is we know that Ruby has contacted him before to go get the children,
Mhm.
and that was his redemption for her. Bring the children back to me. What if all of this is to do it again? To clear
Oh,
his name, to get the children back,
to take them to her?
to take them to her
Well, I mean,
in
she's in
in
jail
some way.
in some
To
way.
to yeah, to do something with them.
Ugh.
I wouldn't trust him.
Oh, I
I
don't
wouldn't
trust him.
trust him.
He
Mm-mm.
can never in my mind, he can never be in a classroom again. He can never be around children
No,
again. No.
no.
Mm-mm.
But I don't trust that this is real.
I don't either.
I still think she might be pulling the strings. I
Mhm.
wonder if he goes to visit her in jail. Let me see if we can find that.
I wonder.
Does Kevin Franke visit Ruby? Oh, there's no information on that.
Mm.
But I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so I found this on Reddit I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Again, it's Reddit. Take it with a grain of salt.
Sure. Take it with the pounds of salt necessary.
This was posted a month ago. Kevin Franke was my professor at BYU.
Okay.
Okay. About 10 to 12 years ago, I took a few classes from Dr. Franke at BYU's engineering school. He seemed genuine. He would spend a few minutes at the start of every class relating soil mechanics to the gospel and life. He was very devotional.
So he was a soil engineer?
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering what kind of professor he was.
But he knew his stuff. Engaging lecture style, came and hung out at labs once or twice a semester. It's not an easy thing to make dirt in engineering topic, but somehow he pulled it off.
Okay.
One time I got to hang out at his house at a shindig he held. He honestly seemed like a good guy. We ate hot dogs. He showed his kids and the crowd a silly card trick, and everybody laughed. But his son was especially wowed by it. Can't remember if Ruby was there, but I think not. During one of the last lectures, during one of my classes with him, he mentioned he was starting a YouTube channel with his family called 8 Passengers because they and their 6 kids were going to be 8 passengers in the van of life with the Holy Ghost as our driver. Pro tip, you don't want a ghost driving your car.
No, you
I'm just
don't.
going to throw that out there.
You don't. I'm looking at him on Rate My Professor as well. So
Ooh.
he's still teaching.
Looking back on now, it makes me equal parts sad and nauseated. I never watched it. He also shared a story with us once, which now seems a little personal. But in it, he mentioned that Ruby had struggled with depression at an earlier time in their lives. And this person wrote, seems like she ended up struggling with more than that. So
Mm.
there you go.
Wow.
There you go. Now, you think he's still teaching?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. So on Rate My Professor, which is always one of my fun things to go look at for friends of mine who are teachers,
Mm-hmm.
the last review he got was in March of 2025, March 1st, 2025.
Oh, wow.
Prior to that,
Okay.
September 5th, 2023.
Okay.
Overall, his rating is 2.2.
Ooh. Ooh.
30%. Yeah.
That's
30% would
low.
take again. Level of difficulty 3.9. Let's go to some of the bad reviews because I think,
Yeah, I wanna hear the
uh,
comments.
let's see.
Read the comments, Amanda.
Okay, I'm getting there. Dr. Franke was amazing. That's the most current one. He was
Okay.
very kind and nice, but did give a lot of homework. He's
Oh,
an amazing
well, yeah.
teacher. Someone described him as hilarious and inspirational, very kind. The workload can be manageable as long as you aren't taking any other classes. Ew.
Mm, mm.
Never on time and unprofessional. Professor Franke is a very caring professor. He does give a lot of work and it is a hard class in general, but if you put in the effort and study, you should do fine. I would take him again. Who cares? Professor Franke, definitely a unique guy, but he truly seems to care about his students' success. Shame he didn't give a fuck about his kids. Okay,
Nope.
that was me. Dr. Franke made my university experience. He sucks.
He sucks.
That's one comment.
S Oh,
I
that's a comment? I thought
just a comment.
you were
No,
summarizing. Okay.
no, just a comment. He sucks.
Oh,
That's it.
yikes.
Next one.
Yikes.
I truly did not have a great experience in this class. It wasn't insanely hard class. I take schoolwork very seriously and have never had issues with the professor before. Hard professors are one thing, but downright rude, dismissive, and arrogant is another. Save yourself the misery if you can and take something else with someone else.
Mm.
Next comment. Weird dude.
I think that sums it up. He is a weird dude.
He's
I'm
very rude and
sorry,
mean.
like, he knew what was happening. He at least knew that she was physically abusive with these
Of
kids.
course.
Like,
Another comment.
this
No. That's the
no.
whole comment. No.
What was the name of Natalia Grace's crazy father?
Michael.
Michael
Barnett.
Barnett. It's kinda like he claims that he had no idea
But then he'd come
that
in and
all
see
that
Christine beating her to a pulp on
Right,
the floor or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Like, you can't live in a house with children and not know they're being beaten.
I know. I know.
God. Okay.
Oh, Professor Franke was rude from day one. He does not respect his students at all. He was always in a bad mood. This was in June of 2022.
Well,
And
he was in the men's group.
he was in the men's group and made class miserable. He would make horrible. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, he would make horrible homophobic remarks and make us students feel incompetent. His classroom felt hostile and like a prison. Hashtag I hate it here.
Wow. Okay. So where is Kevin Franke now and what's happening? So this is from biography.com,
Okay.
which I think is an okay source.
I mean, it's certainly better than like, I don't know, BuzzFeed or some shit.
The
Actually, no,
subheading
BuzzFeed is actually can be a real source of information, but
the subheading for this
oh
is
no.
Kevin Franke has called for child welfare reform.
Oh, good.
Kevin
So
filed for
brave.
divorce from Ruby on November 30th, 2023, roughly 3 months after she and Hildebrandt were arrested. He hasn't been charged in relation to the criminal case. His legal team has asserted that Kevin was separated from Ruby more than a year before her arrest and had no knowledge of the abuse.
Okay.
Prior to their separation, the Frankies had been seeing Hildebrandt for marriage counseling in 2021. Kevin said the following year, Hildebrandt instructed the couple to separate in order to help their marriage. He's really blaming it all on Jodi.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Kevin gave his first public comments about the abuse case in July 2024. Speaking during a meeting of Utah's Child Welfare Legislative Oversight Panel, he urged lawmakers to pass legislation addressing loopholes in the state's child welfare laws that prevented authorities from intervening after neighbors and Sherry reported concerns about the Frankie children. He also called for the regulation of life coaches such as Hildebrandt, whom he said preyed on the vulnerable, those who were seeking help.
Mm. Those
When
goddamn
asked
life coaches, Amy.
when asked by reporters how much blame he assigns Ruby, Hildebrandt, or authorities for the abuse, he compared the whole thing to a train wreck. When you approach a train wreck, you can't partition it and say, well, this part of the mess was due to the wheel. Oh, God, he's such a STEM guy.
Oh, God.
In my view, in my perspective, it's all a giant mess. Okay, fine. Ruby's children are light years better. Ruby and Kevin have 6 children. According to people, 4 of the Frankie children were placed into child protective services after her arrest. In March 2024, the case's lead prosecutor gave an update on the condition of the 2 youngest children who were subjected to the abuse at Hildebrandt's home. I think people should know now, he said, that the kids have put on weight. They're interacting. They're happy. They're healthy. It's not like they're great, but they're light years better. And thank heavens for that.
Mm.
Okay, here we go. In September 2024, the status of the Frankie's 4 underage children is the subject of an ongoing juvenile court case. Although the proceedings are closed to the public, it's been reported that Kevin is pursuing custody.
Wow.
In February 2024, Page 6 reported the father filed for guardianship of his then 16-year-old daughter. Kevin is making an effort to rebuild and bridge these relationships rather than sling mud and point fingers.
Wow.
Okay. Do not give this man these children.
No.
Do not.
Mm-mm.
Do not.
Mm-mm.
He has not, and the reason is listen to his language.
Yeah.
He has not come out and said, my ex-wife is a fucking monster.
Nope.
She's not even his ex-wife yet.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm. Nope.
No. Don't give him, if you don't want to arrest him, fine. If you don't have enough proof that he did something, but don't let him teach and don't let him have these children.
Nope. Agreed.
Oh my God. They should put Sherry in charge of these children. She
Yeah.
could decide what they want because she's the only fucking one who had their best interests at heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But also what I don't want to see happen is her just get these kids and then have to raise them.
No, I don't want that. I just think she should have a say in what
I think
happens.
she should
to
be
them.
the one, like some sort of like executorship where she.
Yes. Yep.
But she's been through enough. She doesn't need 4 kids thrown on her.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
But she could be in charge of what happens to them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like, hey, Sherry, what do you think? Should we give the kids back to your dad or should they stay in this nice foster home they're in? Let's keep them in the foster home.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Let's keep them the fuck away from my fucked up father.
All right. I feel good. I feel like I got this out of my system.
Okay,
I was
good.
real worked up over him.
Good. I'm glad.
He's trying. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh,
He is trying to fool us.
He is.
Don't fall for it.
He's terrible.
Pay attention to what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Because he's giving it all away.
Yeah. All right, Amanda, I think we've said it all.
I think we said it all. Glad we were able to just be real chill about that whole experience. And I don't know how we got to the point that I was laughing till I was crying because, of this horrible abuse, but here we are.
Well, in a story this dark, you have to find light,
You have to find
pinpoints of
light.
light.
And the fact that this woman's therapist was living with her and they're on the men's group,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
I think what we're laughing about too is like just the ridiculousness of it.
Mhm.
Like, how could somebody believe this?
I
But
know.
here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. All right, guys. If you like what you hear, please consider supporting the show by joining our paid Patreon, Supercast, or Apple subscription tiers. You get a ton of content over there. You're getting
Yes, you
Sister
do.
Wives, you're getting Love After Lockup, you're getting the Mad Men rewatch, you're getting Yellow Jackets, you're going to get Gypsy Rose
Ooh, you get
and
real
Hot Hot
talk.
Rod.
The Hot Rod is back.
You get Real Talk, which is a show where Amanda and I just shoot the shit, or
And
other
other
people.
people.
We have
Yeah.
other people too.
Yep.
Just shoot the shit, every Friday.
We have a real fun one coming up planned. We haven't done it yet, but
I'm
a
very
real fun
excited.
one. I am too.
Yeah.
I'm too.
With BDF Robin.
It'll probably be, I'm going to say it won't be as serious perhaps as this week's, which was my therapy session. So thank you for all of you who listened
Well,
and participated in my therapy session.
it was a nice break from my therapy session.
Yes, that's
which
good.
is what we usually get.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
yeah.
It's good.
God, would love to get Janet on my therapy. Like just do therapy with her.
Wow. On Real
Yeah.
Talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I would ask her questions about herself.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Interview her. Got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not
and
happening.
then turn it into my therapy session.
Oh, sure.
Very subtly. Okay.
Of course. She
All
would
right,
never see that
guys.
coming in a million miles.
Thank you so much. If you can't support the show financially right now, we totally get it.
Yep.
Please just leave a 5-star review or share this episode with someone that you know who would appreciate it.
That'd be great.
All right. Thanks so much, Amanda. Thank you.
Amy, thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Little Miss Recap. If you'd like to support the show, the best way you can do that is to join our Twin Flame universe, which is our Patreon, Supercast, and Apple subscription feeds. The links for those are in the show notes. You get ad-free episodes and a ton of bonus content. You can also subscribe to the feed so you don't miss an episode, share the show with a friend, and leave a 5-star review. To contact the show, please email me directly at amy@littlemissrecap.com or join our Facebook group Backdoor Friends. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.